Biologic, biosimilars and generic medicines provide safe and effective treatment options for many diseases, including cancer. In this episode of Canopy TV, Laura Clunie, clinical pharmacist at Canopy Cancer Care, explains these medicines and talks about the biosimilar approval pathway and the benefits these medicines will provide patients.
So a biologic medicine is a medicine that's produced by a living organism. That could be a bacteria or a yeast or cells in culture. They're often very large, complex molecules, and they're similar to molecules we might have in our own bodies, so hormones or growth factors or antibodies, for example. A biologic medicine is different to a standard medicine in that it's produced by a living organism and there might be a bit of variability in that molecule, as opposed to standard medicines, which are usually much smaller molecules and can be chemically synthesized, and because of that they can be easily replicated.
We could think of it this way. Wine that is made from grapes is a biologic product, and because grapes are grown, there will be slight differences in the wine from year to year, even if the grapes come from the same vineyard, just like a biologic. On the other hand, bottles of soft drink are made using a standard set of ingredients which are always identical, like a standard medicine. So now that we know what a biologic medicine is, what is a biosimilar? And how do we know these medicines are as safe and effective as the original or reference biologic?
A biosimilar medicine is a medicine that's highly similar to the originator biological medicine and works in the same way. This is different from a generic medicine. So when we talk about generic versions of a small molecule drug, these are exact copies. Those drugs can be replicated exactly. Whereas with a biosimilar, there might be small differences in molecular structure that don't affect the way the drug works. To ensure a biosimilar is safe to use, drug regulators like MedSafe in New Zealand and the FDA in the United States have very strict requirements and criteria that a manufacturer of biosimilars need to meet. The manufacturer needs to show that the molecular structure is highly similar to the originator product and there's no clinically meaningful differences in the way the drug will work. They also need to do lab studies to show that the drug behaves in the same way, and they need to do clinical studies in humans to show that the drug has the same safety profile as the originator and that it has the same effectiveness as well. Like all drugs, biological drugs have a patent which applies for several years after they're first developed. This gives the company that makes them the exclusive right to market that drug, and during this time often drugs are a lot more expensive. Once the patent expires, other companies are then able to produce their own versions of the drug. This creates competition and often drives the price down. The main benefit for patients with the introduction of biosimilar medicines is going to be a reduction in cost. Whenever we save money in a health system, that also means there's an opportunity to fund more medicines or to fund other services that are needed. For medicines that are not publicly funded, the introduction of biosimilar versions of these medicines means that self-funding treatment with these medicines will become more affordable.
New Zealand has a strong regulatory system in MedSafe that ensures the safety, effectiveness and quality of all medicines. Biosimilar medicines are thoroughly tested to show that they are just as safe and effective as the original registered biologic medicine before they are approved for use in New Zealand by MedSafe. If you have any questions about biosimilar or generic medicines, please ask your healthcare professional.